beautiful. Look at you guys. Oh my goodness. All 8 of you back together again. Such beautiful girls. You ready to go into your new home? Found the food, and I just put one out, you know, one through this entrance, one through the other entrance, push them through there so they can kind of see that they can roam around a little bit. And they found their food, which is great. I'm gonna get a different feeder, but since they're used to this for now, this works fine. Two more are still in the house, in the coop. I mean, the chicken house, They're in the coop, so. But they know where it is. This is good. I'm debating whether to put the second little feeder. I have a second one just like that. I need to put both of them on here. I don't know yet. We'll see. But I'm sure they love the extra space. They can finally run around. We have roosting bars now. They have one in here, and then there's 2 inside the coop. So that's nice. And I'll find some other stuff that I can hang down from this run that they can play with and stuff. So that'll be nice for them. Figuring out how to go up the steps, the ramp. So these bars are kind of, I mean, something can stick its paw inside of it, so if they're on the end they could get touched by something. So I think we want to put a strip of hardware cloth along, I guess, the bottom half of this. There's a bar here, so I guess a hardware cloth along the bottom strip, and then the second middle strip between those bars as well. I think this side up here is good. So get some hardware cloth cut. Just add around the outside of this run as well. You guys look happy. I'm gonna put some more pine shavings down as well. Plus hardware cloth will keep the pine shavings from coming out because these sides are open up big enough for that to come out as well. So that'll help with that. And I have another bag of pine shavings. I'll spread some more down. Check out the rabbits. It's a nice day today. Let's open this up. How you guys doing? Hello. Girls. Hopkins down here. And Peter. Peter, where's your water? The water's out. Let's get you some more. Scoot over. Oh, scoot, scoot, scoot. I'm gonna run to Tractor Supply today and see if they have another one of those rubber buckets for him. He needs some too. Gonna get you some water from the chickens. Just dip it in here. So I'm gonna go to Home Depot and Lowe's and get my supplies for building their shelf, their stand today, so I can get that built this week. Hopefully I can get definitely started on it today, and if not finished today, finish tomorrow. We'll see what happens. We're starting more seeds today. So these are peat pellets that are going to be with peppers, celery, and eggplant that I'll be putting seeds in today to start indoors. These are what I started on January 7th. Some of them are doing really well. The time has two dates because on January 7th it was started, but it did not sprout anything. And my cousin started some like last week, and hers already have germinated. So I figured I'd throw some more seeds in there. We'll see what happens. If it doesn't sprout, if that doesn't sprout, oh, Silas, stop. No, give it back, Spencer. Give it back to him. Sorry. If that doesn't sprout, then I know it's a germination issue with that particular pack of seeds. So then next to that, I have dill. Where are we? Here we go. Dill, wormwood, cilantro, cumin, mint, and lavender. Those last two, mint and lavender, have not sprouted either. We'll see. I'll check the dates and see how long it takes for them to germinate. I didn't, bless you, bless you. I didn't really need the mint because I have lots of plants growing outside, but I don't know if they're going to come back. I know they normally do, but that's usually in ground, and all my stuff is planted in the Smart Pots. Not Smart Pots, that brand, but in the fabric container pots. So, and also in the veg trug, which is kind of the same thing as the grow bags. They're all in grow bags. So everything I have planted outside is in containers. So I don't know if mint to come back, if it needs to be really deeply rooted in the ground to come back, or is it okay in a more shallow thing like a pot. So we'll see. So that's just in case. Plus I like peppermint better than spearmint, but I don't know what's going to come from these seeds. Silas, stop. So we'll see what happens from that. And I also planted 2 more tomato plants. And these are for indoor. These will not be going outside. Just so I could get another round of the ones that I planted over the fall. I started some inside and I grew them, and we had tomatoes, just small tomatoes in the house for my salads. But we've had them over the winter. And those are on their way out. So I wanted to get some more going. And here, stop, Silas. You guys get out. Bye. Go. No fighting. These ones here, you've seen these. They're doing fantastic. This is basil that I planted from seed right in here. Parsley that I started. And this was planted December 8th. And this is where this is. So this is doing really well. My sage, I have 2 pots of that. I use a lot of that. I harvest a lot of it. It grows back. That's doing wonderful. Oregano is doing really well. I was running low on that, so I needed to plant those quickly. Those are doing well. I have rosemary back here. I have harvested, so it's a little short, but it doesn't. I need a big pot of rosemary. What I use a lot in my cooking, I've noticed, is sage, oregano, rosemary. Those three I put on my chicken all the time. I use it in my gravy. I use it, I use that a lot. Basil, I use that as well, especially when I'm making like spaghetti type things, or anytime I'm using my tomato sauces. So, those things I really need some big plants from. I don't use a whole lot of parsley, but I like to have some for when I need it. So, this is, this is doing fine. This basil here was a part of a tomato plant, is what this was from. And I actually took this as a cutting from outside from the summer tomato plants because it was doing so well. So before the frost came, I said, I'm going to take this inside and put this in the indoor one. So that did well in there. It's growing fine. It was a cutting, so it's rooted. Clearly it's started new roots and it's doing well in here. But the tomato that was in here is gone because all the tomatoes were done. Here's what's left of my tomatoes for indoor. These were all green a few days ago, so I was waiting for these to turn, and when these are all done turning, this plant will be taken out as well. And there's actually, is there basil in that one? No, maybe it's in the other one. So this tomato plant only has, I think, 2 tomatoes left on it, which I'm just waiting for those to turn, and then that tomato will be gone as well. There's a little basil plant back there. I planted 1 seed in there, and that came up, so that is doing well. So I'll leave that in there even when that tomato comes up, because we'll be planting again. These 2 will go into those 2 pots that are up there. Well, it'll go into the one with the little basil plant and the one that has the bigger plant like there. And then that 3rd one will be empty, so I plant something else in that. So that's what's happening indoors. These look like they're pretty full. Have soaked up all the water to grow. Just tilt it over so all the water goes down there to be with these. And so that's what's going on indoors. I'm going to let those grow, and then I'm going to run to Home Depot, like I said, so I can get the stuff for the rabbit's stand and the chickens' feeders. We'll be back. It's Home Depot time. I love the smell of all the lumber. So we're getting my 2x4s to make the stands for the rabbit cages. So exciting. It's dark out now, so I'm not going to be able to get this done tonight, but I will definitely be working on it tomorrow during the day. So this is what we're getting. These 2x4s. And we're going to have them cut them here, so I don't have to worry about that either.
What are you making with it?
The stands for the rabbit cages.
Oh.
Okay, so yesterday afternoon got a little crazy after I picked the kids up from school. We did go to Home Depot. Well, I went to Lowe's first, and I did some pricing, and then they didn't have what I needed, so I left there and went to Home Depot, and then that took forever. So we didn't get home last night until about 8:30 with all of the lumber and the PVC piping and the buckets and everything I had gotten all day yesterday for the feeder and the rabbit cage stand. So here we are today, and I'm going to try to get back on track. I did not get to do the planting of my seeds yesterday that I had planned to do, but that's okay. I mean, it's the very first beginning of the season where we can start planting stuff inside, so I'm not behind by any means. So that's all right. So I'm going to start writing on my tags, so all of the seeds that I have that I'm going to be planting. So that part is done, and I'm going to try. It's super wet today. It's very, very rainy today here in Maryland. So I'm not going to be able to go outside and build the stand, but I can do the feeder indoors. So I'm probably going to try to get that done, at least started while I'm inside today. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my seeds for now and just see how far we get with everything. Yes, Silas. Yes. Okay, so we're in the back again. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and stick these last eggplants in here. Extra water that was in there, I'm going to pour in here. And pour the rest of the water in the bottom. Alright, put that back in the kitchen. Looks like we're probably good to go. Now I also usually sprinkle some cinnamon on the top of my seeds when I'm starting them to keep fungus away. So I'll be doing that as well. It's just a little sprinkle, it's not a lot. But here are the beginnings of our starts for spring. Get my cinnamon out. Oh, I'm gonna turn the fan off. I don't want it to blow my cinnamon away. It's just a little sprinkle. It's really not much. So I just put the chain on, wrap the chain around here, and then wrap it around here and loop it back around. And this is where I can easily raise it up when it's time to raise them up. Same thing I did with the rest of them. So now these are right under this, not sun, under the lights as well. And I'm gonna push these back just a little bit. There we go. And I'll be able to get 3 trays here. This is just the top, but same size as the tray that would go here. Oh, excuse me. These are just the top, the same size as the tray that would go here, so I can get 3 trays here. So when it's time to do the next things, I can put one here, and I can also put one in the back there, but I don't need that right now. So for now, this is all we need, so everyone has good light. And we can move on to the next project. Alrighty. That's the seed starts. That's done off my list for today. Next step, feeders. Alright, so we're going to cut this PVC, this part off so we can fit it through the buckets. So I have my husband's tool. He showed me how to, he texted me pictures and showed me how to put this on here because I wasn't sure. Since we did have this saw that would cut this. All right, let's see. good.
It is good.
It is good. Spencer came back to tell me it is good.
It is good.
So that is in there. So all I'll have to do after, get back. No, don't come over here. All I'll have to do after this is sand this up real good and get rid of all these little pieces because we don't want our chickens eating this stuff. And then we can insert them. So we have 8 of these to do. We're making 2 buckets. We have 8 chickens. So I wanted to have a hole for each of them because no, they don't have to eat at the exact same time, but it's very possible that they would want to. When the food comes, they want to get out there and eat. So we'll see. But this is going to sit down, go in the bucket, and sit about 1.5 inches off the floor of the bucket. So just rough like this. And their heads will go in here and eat the food.
And eat the food.
And eat the food.
Yep, it is.
So I'm going to keep cutting, and I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Oh, are you kidding me right now? The thing broke off. Ah! What in the world? Okay, so I got all the pieces cut off. Now I am sanding all of this rigidness off to make it nice and smooth. Like I've done this one so that I can get rid of all that so none of these flakes will be, of course, in their feeder. We don't want the chickens eating anything bad. So I'm just going to finish sanding these. My hole saw is too big. I have a 2.5 and then I have a 4 1/8. But I need one that is, I think, 3.5. So I'm going to take the, when I had the 4.5 back, or the 4 1/8 or whatever it is, back and exchange that for the 3.5 that I have. So I'm not going to be able to finish it quite yet, but I'll get it done. Still chugging along. All right, we have success after fighting with the hole saw not detaching from the drill to the wrong size hole saws. It's been a crazy time. I was defeated last night. I was upset. I was hurt. My feelings were hurt. I was sad. I was very frustrated. My head hurt. It was crazy. This morning, my mom suggested, why don't you take it to Home Depot and see if they can take the drill, the hole saw apart. My problem was this whole entire piece, black all the through there, I could not unscrew to take the hole saw apart from it so I could switch a different size hole saw. It was stuck. Home Depot couldn't help me. They were like, well, why don't you try, what did they tell me? A socket wrench. I was like, oh, I have socket wrenches at home. Tried that. I got it off. So here we are now. And I've done the first bucket was done, but this is the second bucket because I learned some things with the first bucket where I said, okay, I'll change it with the second bucket. So this is the second bucket. It is perfect and complete. I drilled a 3.5 inch hole through this bucket for this 3-inch hole saw, this 3-inch PVC elbow, 90 degree. It went through, it was snug. It wanted to protrude out some. So what I did was I pushed in as far as I could get it to go. And I just put some Gorilla Tape, some strips of Gorilla Tape around here to keep it from coming back out to the outside. It wouldn't have come out, but it comes out, it pokes out a little bit, but it would not have come through because there are some little nodules on the side that would prevent it to come through. But it was sticking out a bit, but I wanted it to be tighter in and further down to the bottom of the bucket. So you see I got that in there. And I did 3. The plan was to do 4. But 4 3-inch elbows do not actually fit comfortably inside these buckets. Let me show you. So this was the one that I did last night. I got all the holes drilled in, but this was done with a 3 5/8 hole saw. And the holes were a little bit too big. So I used some putty, some plumber's caulk actually, and I just put it on the outside and the inside here to seal that up and let it sit overnight. It'll work. It's doable. But you see I have a hole here for the fourth one because I said I did 4. 4 would not fit. They come out too far. So I figured 3 is a better option. So I taped this hole back up so I could possibly use it. But at this point, I'm thinking I want to grab another bucket from Tractor Supply and just drill 3 good holes in it, 3.5, use the tape to seal it, and be done with it. Because, I mean, this, you know, it could work. But you can see it's kind of coming out on the side. I don't want the chickens picking at that and trying to eat it. They get curious and they're like, oh, what's this? So I think I'm going to take these out. I just need one of them. Try to clean this caulk off. Hopefully that comes off and I can start over on a 3rd bucket and just get rid of this altogether, since I learned from my mistakes. But that's what it is. You learn from your mistakes, so now I know. So that project, getting them a better feeder, is pretty much complete. I have 1 bucket that I can put out there today, and I know they're good until I go to Tractor Supply either later on today and grab another bucket, or just put this one out there for now. You know, no, I don't want to do that actually, no, because I don't want them eating at this caulk. But yeah, until I get another bucket, I have the first bucket go out. They'll be good with that. So that's that. Woo! All right, so they're all in there, and they've kind of figured out that the food's in there. So that's good. I had some extra pieces of lumber when I got the lumber cut for the rabbit stands. So I was able to use those to just prop it up so it's a little higher, because it does go pretty low to the ground. So that works. They're in here. There was some blood on the old feeder from yesterday, and where they had like knocked it over and they ran out of food. So I think that one of the blue splash Marans was getting kind of beat up from somebody fighting for food, maybe. Okay. You guys, there's food in your bucket. One of them had put their head in there. That blue splash Moran that's up on top of the wood, her breasts seem very big, much bigger than the other ones. I'm like, is that normal? Is she okay? She's chirping. Hopefully she's all right. Took a little bit of the food and I pushed it out a little bit so they could see that there's food in there. Now they got it. So I hope this works. And I also put it on top of 4 4x4s, 2x4s. So technically it's 4 on top of 4s because it's 2s and 2s. But yeah. This one and sleeping. I've never seen them like just sit and tuck their head inside their own feathers. So after thinking about it, I'm going to go ahead and leave it as one bucket because this one feeder seems to be doing the job just fine, even though there's 8 chickens and only 3 holes. If they get too big for it and want more, then we'll add a second one later. But for now, this is good. Happy chickens. Thanks for watching. The next thing will be getting this rabbit stand together. So I'll be back with that one soon. Have a good day, guys.